And we're live. This is Thomas and Patrick, to start with, at least. And it's Saturday, yes, Saturday evening for some of us, at least. And so this is the dev meeting for the TakeMeAway project. Raul is a little busy getting home from work, I guess. So he asked me to step in and kick this meeting off, and hopefully he'll join us later. Let me just go to screen share, and yeah. Okay, so Patrick, what's up? How's your week been in terms of TakeMeAway project? Have you been working on anything, and you want to share it with us?
Yeah, the only thing I've been working on is really just to, in my own little app that I have, to implement Paperclip, which is the tool that Sampriti was using for image attachments. And I'm assuming he's also using something called paperclip_database, which is the only one I can find that's really viable to map. Yeah. So I've implemented both of those just for my own learning purposes, and I'm about to start in on developing RSpec tests for them.
Okay.
I didn't want to move forward working with Sampriti on that until I understood Paperclip a lot better than I did. So I'll be working on that. If Sampriti and I can connect up later, that'll be great. It's tough because he's as you know, he's halfway around the world from me. It's tough to find times for both of us. Yep.
Yeah. So I saw this discussion on the in the TakeMeAway channel about whether we should have one-to-many relationship between a menu item or a product or and images, or if we can attach one. And one of the points you made toward having a one-to-many relationship was that then we can have thumbnails and medium size and etc. like that, right?
Yeah, Paperclip uses image magic, so it can do any kind of style you want. You can convert
I know
the image to all that stuff.
But
yeah,
the thing is
sorry.
Yeah, but the thing is that, if we want to save like, a thumbnail, a medium size and a large size version of the image, we don't need to have one-to-many relationships. We can have just one, actually. One image can be saved in different formats using Paperclip.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I just thought, from the point of view of the customer using the end user application, we might show, say, a thumbnail in a menu, and somebody could click on that to see a little bit more, a bigger picture of it, to see the dish and all.
But when you say a thumbnail, and then if they click to see, is it like a different picture or a different format of a picture?
It would be a different format. It would be a separately stored image.
All right. Yeah, but for that we don't need to have a one-to-many relationships. You see, the Paperclip works this way, that even if you have one image attached only, you can still store it in different formats. I can show you some code showcasing that, actually. Let's see if I can open a project. Yeah, so here I think I used it. So I have two models here in this particular project. I have two models that are using Paperclip to store images, and just for that I created a service rather than attach those methods to those single models. So just let me have a look here. So so we have event and news in this particular case. So if we go to event, we can see that it has how many attachments. Yes, okay. So in this case I actually have many attachments because it's an old version of it's a newer version of this project. But let me just see here. If I go to engine, check out. Let's see. No. I'm trying to show you something that I can't do it. For some reason. So
yeah,
I have the wrong. Let's try this. Let's see. Yeah. Are you still seeing my screen?
I am.
Okay.
Are you using file storage in this particular example?
No, this one is storing. We're using AVS, Amazon Web Services.
AWS? Yep. Okay.
Oh, it's still the same code base. But anyway, what we have here, okay, so I kind of changed that, unfortunately. But anyways, if we go to model and attachment, so he has this has image class, he includes this has image class. So let's jump over to that. And here, okay, so here we have the main thing. It's a little commented code here, but don't bother about that. But okay, so one attachment has one image. In this case, it's called hero image. Never mind the naming. And then you have each image has 3 different styles. You see here, there are styles, one called large, one called medium, and one called thumb. The large one is 350 pixels and no more than 350 pixels at the baseline, and the medium is 247, and the thumbnail is 100 times 100 pixels, right?
Right.
And we have this, when we convert that, we are using a proc that, we call this method convert options, and this is what we do when we actually convert the image. And what we do is that we, using ImageMagick commands, I am adding a border, and I'm adding rounded corners, and then I was considering dropping a shadow around image, but I commented that out because it wasn't looking good anyway. So these all are ImageMagick commands, that we're using. We're doing some calculations because we will have to, fill a black polygon with stuff, etc., etc. But that doesn't really matter. But what I'm trying to say is that each image then is stored in 3 different. It still is only one attachment in the database, but it's stored on AVS with 3 different formats. Yep. And that means that when I call it, let me see, on views, you can say news page show. Let's see, where is that? Yeah, so here you are. So you have an attachment, a hero image URL, and then I'm showing the large version of it. Yeah, you see, if it would say thumb here, then it would show the thumbnail only.
Right. So you're not doing the image conversion on the fly. You're doing it when you initially get the image, when you upload the image the first time.
Yeah.
So those 3 images for those 3 styles are stored somewhere, right?
Yes, in this case, on Amazon Web Services.
And what happens? The way the paperclip_database works is it creates the styles when you first upload the image as well, and it stores every style in the database.
Yeah.
And in order to keep track of that, it has this metadata table that points to an image table, and the image table has the data, the binary data, plus the style attribute.
Yeah. But so from what I understand, but you create two tables when you use this paperclip database. So basically, for instance, in this case, when you have a class of user class with he has a file avatar, then in the users table you have a field called avatar, and then it creates another table for storage, a join table probably or something, with different styles attached to each user's instance, basically. So it works the same way. So if I should call this one, I would instantiate a user, put it in a variable, user, then I would say user.avatar.url, and then called medium on it if I want to show the medium, basically. But in our case, if we want, one, if we just think that user in our case is the menu item class, right? So we could say have a has attached file image, for instance, instead of avatar, and then we just store it in the database, and we just attach whatever styles we want to have. In this case, 2, but you can have as many styles as you want, basically. As long, but that said, it will be only the same image will be transformed in different ways. So here, when you store a medium, format, Paperclip invokes the image magic commands and resizes that to 300 times 300, and that's it. In my case, I wanted to do some, and that's why I had those image magic commands myself. But in case of the default functionality, you don't need to have your own commands in any way, right? So I would say that in our case, just to keep it simple, we add this has attached file, image to the menu item class. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I think that's the simplest way, and in that case, the client will be able to upload one image. That image will be then transformed to different formats, but it will display the same thing, but in different in different sizes or what have you. Does that make sense?
I hear what you're saying. I've got to make sure that Paperclip database works that way. It looks to me like if we wanted to have multiple images, which includes the same image in different styles, we have to have that intermediate metadata table, and then we have to have the image data table itself.
I think we do need that, but that's under the hood. We never see that. From what I understand, but I might be wrong. But from what I understand, the gem takes care of that. We don't have to think about it. We do this. Okay, so this is a Rails 3 command, so they must have something similar for Rails 4, but generate Paperclip database migration user avatar, that creates basically everything we need, and we don't have to worry about that. But if you want, we can pair on that, and we can try it out together, or spike something up, or because you mentioned that you were thinking about tests, and testing those things is a mess. Let's see, RSpec. So let's see. While this is searching, let me have a look at the attachment specs in this project. Let's see. Load attachment. Yeah, you see here. Also, this is just basic. Is expected to belong to. Is expected to have attached file. And is expected to validate attachment content to be an image PNG or image GIF or something, and reject plain. So these are some simple. But the problem I remember I had this problem with the factories. That was because you don't want to. I know that I had for some reason fixture upload file. I don't even know if I don't remember if this works or not. But for when I had this valid file equals the one on line 4, it actually uploaded things to AVS, and I didn't want that to happen while I was running my tests.
Yep.
So that's why I have so much commented out code here, because I don't even remember if I ever got it to work. Let's see. Here. And RSpec. Oh. Okay, I haven't visited this project for a long time, so let's see if it runs. Why not? Oh, of course. What? Huh. Does not exist. Relation attachment. Huh. All right. I must be stupid or something.
Oh, I doubt that. It's tough to go back and recover context in these things quickly.
Yeah. Wow. Why not? Huh. Okay, so something wrong with the migrations. I don't really. Oh, anyway, I can't be bothered to get this to pieces, but there seems to be something wrong with the migrations on this one. But anyway, I know for a fact that it was a hassle to test this, but I believe it should be a little easier now than if we have a database storage rather than actually uploading that to a cloud service.
I hope so. Can I show you something real quick on my screen?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you see the schema file there?
Yeah, is that the?
So this is just a little fake app that I developed. It's kind of a fake real estate app where you have properties, a real estate listing, something to be sold, a house to be sold, etc.
Yep.
And the way the associations work is a property has many photos. So you can look at multiple photos of the house. The photos, in turn, I'm using Paperclip to store photos. So Paperclip requires these, as you know, Thomas, they require 4 attributes, or it creates 4 attributes when you run the generate script on it. So the actual data table that contains the image data is called dbphoto. So it creates this dbphoto underscore file name, content type, file size, etc.
Okay.
And then because it's storing in the database, it also requires this table that contains the actual binary data. This is the actual image here.
Yeah.
Called dbphotos, which is attached to photos here.
Yeah.
It also contains the attribute style. So if you have 2 photos, one, let's say for the same picture, let's say you have one thumbnail and you have one medium, you're going to have 2 records in dbphotos, one with style being medium and one being thumbnail. And you'll store the actual binary data for each of those 2 images.
So hold on a second. So so just so we get the language, the lingo correctly, so we understand each other.
Yep.
What my argument is that if you upload one image, like Thomas JPEG, for instance, or and you have said that you want to store it in 2 different styles, one thumbnail and one medium.
Yep.
I argue that one image will create 2 instances, two rows in this DB photos table. You know what I mean?
That's true. So, that's exactly right.
So my photo ID could be 1, right? So we can have the one on line 36. The photo ID could be 1, and then the style would be thumb, and then you have the photo, the contents for the thumbnail, and then on the second row you have the same photo ID again, but the style would be medium, for instance, and then you have contents for that. Okay, cool.
That's how that works. So what Sampriti is arguing is that so this accommodates a property has many photos, and each photo has a binary storage in DB Photos.
Yes, yes.
So
well, each photo has several binary storages.
Yeah, so each photo,
depending on how many styles you have defined in your
exactly right. You know. So I've uploaded an original photo in the photos table. If I have multiple styles of that represented, then I have multiple records with the same photo ID pointing to this table. Exactly. So what Sampriti's arguing is that this metadata stuff, which is this stuff, if we only had one, let's say this property, let's call this our menu item table here. If we only had one image, we could put this metadata stuff in our image table.
Exactly.
And then we could
in your properties.
Yeah, the properties is kind of a stand-in for menu item. Let's put it that way.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So if we did that, if we put this metadata in menu item here, we could do that, but we could only accommodate one image of one style per.
No. I argue against that. If we have this on the menu item table, we can still accommodate several styles. That's what I argue, and I know that for a fact, actually.
For database storage, you've seen that work?
I haven't implemented that, so I shouldn't say that I'm 100% sure. So I choose to say 99. But from what I've seen on the documentation, I say it works exactly the same as any other any other implementation of paperclip. You know, paperclip doing the base, functionality, and the paperclip underscore database is just a storage method. So the basic functionality of paperclip should be still there, right? So I say that even if we have that on menu item directly, which is without having one-to-many relationship, we can still have several styles on each image, on that image that we attach. Yeah.
So the way this works, of course, is using paperclip directly. This is similar to what you showed me before, right? So here I'm showing a photo. I'm going to show the medium or a thumbnail or a large version of the same photo here using the same URL method that is provided by paperclip. And underneath it does the magic to convert that to a lookup of the binary data in the database. So what I'm saying is that, let me get back. I need this metadata table to have a one-to-many relationship with the binary data table in order
that's taking. But I believe that's taken care of the gem itself. So when you generate those,
these are created by the generate task provided by either paperclip or paperclip database. Yep. So again, I haven't been able to talk to Sampriti. I think what he's talking about is as a second table, he's referring to this metadata table, and we don't need it if we put the metadata here. But if we do, we're limiting ourselves to one image per menu item. That's his argument, as I understand it.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Yes, it's only one image per menu item, but that particular image can have several styles. You know what I mean?
Again, if it has separate styles, it's going to be stored one time per style in this table. This is the binary table, and we need this intermediate table to map original photo. If you will,
no, we don't. No, we don't. I argue that we don't do that. If we have the everything from 44 down to 47, right? In the properties, let's use those table names. If we would have that on the properties table, I argue that what you have on line 36 wouldn't be photo ID, but rather property ID.
Then I would have to have multiple instances of the same property multiple times because these attributes are different, right?
No. Actually, not. It's.
No.
I mean,
okay. Never mind. Let me back up. Okay.
You see what I mean? If you
Yes.
eliminate photos,
Yeah.
the only thing that changes is that you have a property ID on line 36 on the DB photos table, you know, as a
Right.
foreign key,
Right.
and
Right.
that's the only thing that changes here.
Okay. You know, you may be right. Let me. I'll play with that and see if I can make it work. This is how I had to do it using the generators out of the box. But
But
I'm following.
that's because you wanted to have obviously one-to-many relationship between properties and photos. So you want to have multiple photos on the property, and that's understandable in this case because, you know, as a real estate application, you should have multiple photos on a property. But in our case, I say that it's quite enough to have one image on a dish, unless the client says anything else. You know?
Yeah. So, okay. So I think your argument is that these attributes here relate to the original image uploaded. There's not a specific version of these attributes per style, and I think that's correct. So these attributes could be put into the properties aka menu item table.
Yes. Yes.
And then the image data table would refer to menu item ID as opposed to, yeah. I follow that. Let me see if I can make that work. I'll explore that.
Cool.
And see if I can do away with this intermediate table.
Cool. And let's see, we have Raul with us.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I just said that we have Raul with us. How you doing, Raul?
Hey guys, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, Raul. Yeah,
did you catch a lot of our conversation here?
Yeah, so I jumped in and I sort of caught a bit of that discussion on paperclip at home. So yeah, I just dropped in to check what are you guys discussing about? Because I'm still not home. I'm actually connecting from my phone now.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So Thomas, just to close on this, if you're correct, and I'll play with this, and if you're correct, then it doesn't matter. We don't have to make a decision now that limits us to one image or multiple images. If we don't need the intermediate table, then we can in the future go to 2 images per menu item, and we don't have to change our DB structure. So it's something that we don't need to decide right now. Is what I'm trying to get. If your supposition is correct, and you probably are.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that, you know, knowing, feature creep is always a hassle, you know, but knowing the world as it is, I know that if given a choice, the client will say, yeah, it would be cool to have multiple images on each menu item. So I would say, wise from my experience, we should implement a has-to-many relationship already, you know, to start with. But since, you know, it makes more sense to me to have only one image per menu item. Yeah. And so I would say that we should implement only one. But to be honest, if we implement one now, we have to change that later. Yeah, and the client says that he wants multiple images, then we would need to create this this extra table, you know, and that would actually require a database structure change from us.
Well, just to be clear, if the client says I'd like multiple images of the same dish, that would just be different styles in paper.
No.
You're thinking he'd like different angles, different shots, different lighting of the same dish, that kind of thing?
Well, look, here's the deal. Again, so we're clear. If he says I only want one image, that actually it's not even his decision about the styles. You know, it's more of our decision. That because if there is an index, we should create thumbnails, and if there's a show page, we should showcase the image in a better quality than we have on medium. So that's our decision, I would say.
Got it.
But if he says I want multiple images, that, you know, per se means that he wants different shots of it, different angles, etc.
I understand. When I've been using multiple images, I'm just using that as shorthand for different styles of the same image.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
We need to be careful with that lingo, you know. So styles is just the different versions of the same image, and Cool.
Okay. No, I agree with you. We don't want more than one image, if you will, for any particular.
Yeah. So this is good that you and I are talking about this now, because when this is brought up in the client meeting, we need to be very, very clear toward the client what we actually mean. Do we mean multiple images or multiple styles of the same image? You know,
different sizes of the same image in the client's
exactly. Because otherwise we're gonna face a 30-minute debate about just clearing out what the hell we're talking about.
Yeah,
and we don't want that. So.
Not in front of the client.
Yeah, not in front of the client. Yeah. So I have. So that's great. I say you could implement this. I mean, if you want to start working on that story. Go ahead and coordinate with as much as you can. But since you guys are in completely different time zones, I would say just take a lead on that and implement it. It's quite complicated actually, because you want to display those images in Active Admin and stuff like that. I guess I don't know if that's covered.
Yeah, Thomas Semprita's already done that. He's actually said he's got it all working, except for testing. And so that's why I went ahead and just made it work on my own little toy app so I understand it. And then I could help him with developing tests for it.
Okay.
So that's kind of where we're at this point. And I suggested if we can't connect, if he could commit, or at least give me access to his repo, and so I can pull his branch where he's developing this on, and then add tests to that, and he and I can work that way.
Okay.
But I haven't heard from him yet on that. So we'll continue to pursue it.
So there's a paperclip matchers class, So that's a good way to try to figure out how to test those things.
I was looking at those today, so I'll be
cool.
There's not a lot there, but at least it's a start.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good. Good stuff.
Yeah. All right. On my part, let's have a look. What have I done? I haven't done much apart from. Let's see. I was working on the orders API and made some progress on that. Let's see if we can run some tests. Yeah, because it was a while ago. Agile Ventures, TakeMeAway. And then we go on our spec requests API. Let's see what we have. Order spec, yes. Let's see if it works. Yeah, okay. So I had some issues with the pickup time date format, basically. Expected this. I got the pickup time. Why did I get the pickup time? Okay. Yeah, you see, I have a different date format on what I expect and different what I get from as a JSON response. So that's where I'm at right now. Otherwise, I'm quite okay with creating an order instance and return a response. Return an order by ID is okay, but then, yeah, if I want to see I want to patch, I want to update an order. That's where I kind of run into those dating, this pickup time issues. But it's a small thing. So what I do have in place is I can create an order through the API, and I can update an order through the API. Then the next phase for me would be to move on to deleting that order. So let's see. create. Yeah, so this is the create method, and there's an update method, and that's the most important things. Then they have some private methods about parsing the parameters that the API is sending over to the Rails styles params, you know, and use the permit method for params in Rails, so we can actually make the updates in the database. Yeah.
In terms of deleting an order, it strikes me we have to have business rules around that. That, for instance, you can't delete an order within 2 hours of the pickup time that you specified, or something like that. You know, or maybe that's a silly rule, but I don't know if the owner would want us to have customers create an order and deleting them 2 minutes before they're to be picked up.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
good input, Kid. I haven't thought about that, but we need to we need to talk to the client about that and be prepared to implement some sort of rules. I would say that how about something like this, that an order can be deleted or changed within like 5 minutes after creation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, something like that might be. I'm not sure how to think about it either, but I'm sure the owner would have thoughts on that.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that might work.
Yeah, but it's a valid concern. Yeah.
And if it is deleted, we increment the number of items that can be produced for that day. You know, we have to make sure we do that, all that good stuff.
Yeah, yeah, we have to have this this inventory service somehow attached. So yeah, so these controllers can call. You know, when I create an order, I have this add order item method.
Yeah.
So in this method, for instance, I would, you know, I had to call this menu item, you know, add this menu item to the orders menu items, but I should call this inventory service to subtract that from whatever is possible to produce, etc. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, looks good. Did you know how to do this API business beforehand, or did you look at that book that Raul found regarding creating an API in Rails?
No, I didn't look at the book. Unfortunately, no.
You know
perhaps,
how to do
perhaps I should have. Yeah, well, kind of, but I haven't built a full-featured API before, so I'm just trying my, you know, try and error basically.
Yep. That's how we'll learn, right?
Yeah. So, but it works so far. So let's hope that we can. I've done a simple API for event creation and attached a iOS front end, you know, an iOS client to it. But it was a small project.
I see.
But I'm gonna work on a large scale API later this year for a social network, so that we have to expose the whole structure through an API toward basically what we are doing in this project, you know, but in a larger scale, because we need to have iOS and Android clients and web clients, etc. So.
Is that a Agile Ventures project or something?
No, it's a proprietary thing that I'm working on. I'm a partner in a small venture. I recently became a partner in a small venture that's called Sound Lab. It's I can show you
Sound Lab.
Sound Blab, Lab, yeah.
Sound Lab, BLAB.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, here we are. Yeah. So it's a social network for people that are into alternative music, and yeah. So I'm their lead. I just inherited this code base. I haven't written a single Well, I've done some bug fixes, but I didn't write this application. So there were some bugs with some stuff that wasn't working. So I fixed that, and now we're gonna focus on redesigning the front end, adding some more features, and then the next critical step for us will be to write an API to expose all of this, so we can have different clients.
That's cool. Is this a Rails app?
This is a Rails app, yes.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Good. Well, looks like fun.
Just a tip for you. A good way to check whether it's what technology is used on a website, on a particular website. There is this builtwith.com.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So if you go to and you see that this runs on Apache 2 on a rack cache and Fusion Passenger App Server, and then you have the Ruby on Rails token here. So
yes,
you can, So if we go to Envato, have you heard about this Envato.com service?
No.
Envato is one of the biggest freelancers network. Check it out someday. You can buy great stuff on Envato. This is an Australian company, one of the biggest networks for freelancers. They run multiple sites.
Oh, really?
Different markets, etc. So anyway, Envato is Envato.com. Yeah. So Envato is also run on Ruby on Rails, actually. And so if you go Airbnb, is that called Airbnb? Is that it? So if you go to Airbnb, so part of that site is, as you see, Ruby on Rails token. See that?
Ah, yes. Okay.
Yeah, but part of it is on PHP.
Wow.
So that's a good thing, and I think Kickstarter runs on Ruby on Rails. Yes,
seems like a lot of startups use Ruby on Rails.
Yeah, it's a great framework for a startup because it's such a fast development cycle. So you can push out the working instance of an application very fast.
Absolutely.
Because you develop at such a high level, you don't have to go into the. To be honest, some of the stuff we've done, we don't even have to do that. We don't have to worry about the models and everything. You can just code away and make all the necessary changes as we go. As they show up. And so I remember when we started to develop the Agile Venture site, we didn't have a clue what we display on that site or what sort of information we need. We knew that we needed some landing page and that we want to showcase projects, so we created a projects model, but we didn't know how to describe that project and what associations to have with it. So we gave it a title, and then it was a little like the Genesis in the Bible, let it be light. So we just created certain things as they showed up, and then joining a project became a necessity. So we implemented that. So a user can follow a project, etc., etc.
True Agile. Now, how long have you been doing Ruby on Rails, Thomas?
2.5 years.
2.5 years. Okay, and pretty steadily full-time, very much part-time. How would you characterize?
Full time for a year and a half at least.
Wow. Okay. So that gave you quite a leg up then. Practice.
Yeah, absolutely, and I wouldn't go to any other framework right now because it's so developer friendly. Although in big projects you can get a little lost because it depends a little bit how you use Rails. I've been working on projects where when we used like 10 or 20 to 15 different engines and plugins and etc. So after a while you get a little confused where to update certain things. But Rails is a great framework.
Yeah, that sounds great. Well, Okay.
Let's cut this short now, since it's only you and I. We can't do any voting or anything.
Yeah, I did message Michelle, see if she could join us again. She connected up very shortly earlier in our talk. I don't know if you noticed that.
Oh, I didn't.
She was on maybe for a minute or two, then maybe something happened. She had to drop off.
Perhaps she felt ignored by us, and
I hope not.
sorry,
I don't
Michelle.
think she would take. I don't think she'd take offense at that. And Raul, did he say that he had to drop off when he connected before?
Yeah, he was still on the
road?
Still on his way. Yeah. So yeah, but hopefully, perhaps we could meet something like tomorrow or something, so we can do some voting on the stories.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'll talk to Raul, and you can do that as well. Over.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll continue to work with Paperclip and explore. I think you're right about your idea about I don't need that intermediate table there, but I'll implement that.
Check it out. Check it out.
Yeah,
okay.
No, that's great.
Yeah, if there's anything, I'll be on Slack. Okay.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Thomas.
Live long and prosper.
You too. Take care now.
All right. Take it easy. Cheers.